Sanbonani, igama lami uSipho Sihle and I'm back with another video. So today I'm gonna be talking about this the foreigner thing. Uh like Julius Malema on what he's been saying about the foreigner if like there's no borders, they should be flooding about everything. I see all these people, they tell you that South Africa don't have these skills, don't do that. I see these people hate South Africans so much. I've never had so bad so much someone saying promoting South Africans to have skills, pushing South Africa to have skills. Instead, they will tell you how much they don't have skills. So this is the problem that we having in this country. People who are not for this, the people of this country. These are not people's. These are not people like we wanna associate ourselves with, because I think as much as we want every black people to restore their dignity in this world, but we just can't do it at this pace, at this way. If we can't control a small country like South Africa, how can we become so ambitious of thinking South Africa can, the whole Africa can unite? If the small countries can unite, if countries on their own are fighting amongst each other, if here in South Africa there's this much corruption, so if this Africa unites, who's the leader? Julius Malema leading the whole Africa. I bet not even a single one would say, I even consider. Not out of the 54 countries, not even a single one would even ever consider Julius Malema as that leader. So who will be that leader? I think the delusion that's driving us, is it's crazy. I think people like Julius Malema, like those Pan-Africanists, don't love Africans. They really don't love Africans. If they did love Africans, they would promote, if I'm your friend, I would promote you to work on yourself. Sometimes some things that just needs like a person to reflect. I can't be that friend who say, yeah, I need to be here while you're working on yourself. No, I need to help you work on yourself. No, sometimes you just need the people to have that strength to work on themselves, so they can depend on themselves. Because of, you can depend on the person who can depend on themselves, because they know what's at risk in depending on yourself. So if they depend, what's the responsibility that comes with that? How it's like, uh, um, if you're a lady, you're dating a guy who doesn't take care of himself and expect him to take care of you, then say all men are dogs. To me, that it doesn't make sense. So if a man can take care of himself, then you believe he knows the responsibility that comes with that. He is capable of taking care of you. That's the same relationship we want with every African. We don't want the relationship we've been having as African, like we've helped you. Yeah, but we don't want to be those kind of people. We've been helping Africa, but we rarely point hands. But minute by minute, when we try to say, okay, guys, it's time to go home and try to fix your problems. We are xenophobic. We've helped you. we go back to that thing again and again and again and again. So these pan-Africanists, they really don't love African. Dear African, most of these African really don't, they don't care. Because if they really care, they would know that Africa to be as one, it was never been one even in the past. It was never ever a one country, even back then. But we can have a union, not this African union where nothing happens, it's just talk. We can have a serious union, a real union, where real leaders from countries representing their own people and the interest of their own people come and meet and come with the real solutions they themselves. Because if the was the African Union building in Kenya was built by Chinese, then we're not going forward. We're still backwards. I'm not saying China shouldn't build it, but it's an African Union, for God's sake. Why don't we just have that security? We can't build a China, whatever Asian Union for countries in Asia, and with our workers, and put everything, maybe bug it like they did, like the Chinese bugged our African Union so they could know what we're doing. So I think that's not a constructive way of thinking of pan-Africanism. So that's a sign of self-hate. You know, I think even South Africans, during when you guys were helping us. I mean, I don't care if you helped us or not. The rumor said you helped us. The evidence said you helped us, and I appreciate that many African helped us. But you didn't help us to say stay here and live here. This is forever. Just be here. Don't. You could help us with money. Like the Nigerians said, they helped us with money. That's good, and we still appreciative. That's why we welcomed their people from the first place. So that's where it comes that we helped, we helped. But now look where it has got. Like when they were helping us, it didn't like that. It didn't have so much trouble in the country, whereby that the people of the country would now like have problems. I think we need to talk about these things. Help. I think real pan-Africanist is to promote peace and unity. So if you can promote peace in Nigeria, then you gonna defend Nigerians here in South Africa, then you are a hypocrite. Why you don't promote the roots? Why are you busy cutting off the leaves, cutting off the leaves? Yeah, cutting off the leaves, cutting. Why don't we go to the roots? Why don't we go to the roots? The roots, the problem is Nigeria, or the problem is Zimbabwe. The problem is, you know, as in our government, the problem is our government that make this lawlessness happen in our country. you know so if we taking out both sides of the whole problem that we're having, because one side of our problem is this problem of illegal immigrants and everything that's been happening, it's one side, and the other side is our officials allowing this corruption and let these people sell unregulated food, let this thing goes because of we can't blame only the officials. We should, I think they say they are our brothers. Why can't you blame our brothers? Why we should only blame our other brothers, our officials, because they are the one who, yes, they've made their bad things and they should be punished, and we advocate for that, to be them to be punished. We also advocate for our brothers who perpetuate these crimes to be punished and be sent back to their countries, so they would understand that if they come, so they would teach their children that if you go to another country, my son or my child, don't forget about your home. Do never forget about your home. In fact, go to other countries because you want to go to other countries, not because you are running, because you're gonna be running back home. That's a lesson even for us South Africa. That's why us we other South African like to go abroad, but others don't like to live abroad. I know people who been studying in Cuba and went to America, but they would just come back home when time goes. It's like, yeah, it's boring. I don't feel that. I don't feel at home. I don't feel at home. So this is my home. So same thing with everybody, guys. Mina, I promote every black person to stamp their name, to reinstall their integrity. Zimbabwe, I wish Zimbabwean to reinstall their integrity in Zimbabwe. They won't have integrity here in South Africa if they don't have integrity in Zimbabwe. It just doesn't happen like that. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I've said it in the video that black people need to regain their dignity. That's where even white, colored, and Indian will respect us. So even you black brothers, we'll face this backlash because us as black South African haven't even reclaimed our place, but you are already dislocating us from the main purpose, the main object, because of by now, if this whole foreigner thing wasn't happening, we would be getting to the root of problem. But because every time you distract us from our real problem, we end up focusing on the xenophobic everything that's happening. This is always a distract. Every time we're getting closer to pop the 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 blister. Every time we are close to pop the blister, it becomes a different outrage because of what? Even our black brothers having learned that we are having problems and we need everybody out so we can solve these problems, because we can't solve this problem, this dissatisfaction, with everybody in this country. If we have to suffer, it's okay. That's where we can learn, like everybody had to suffer. We need to suffer to learn. We need to suffer to learn. Guys, you also need to suffer, go back to your country to learn, because of I feel like Africans are afraid to suffer. We are afraid to suffer. That's why we migrating, then they kick us out from Europe, they kick us out even here in South Africa. We kick you out, and in Ghana, Nigerian kick them out. In Nigeria, Ghanaian kick them out. It's been happening. You know why? As soon as other countries thrive, we go and feed on them and depend on them and starting to settle to be, we don't be like the people who are workers who here to for settle amount of time, then we're going back home to fix our country. it's better to be in another country because you just want to have your time. You just a visitor, you, you migrate to another country. You're not running away from another country. I think also to be a refugee it's not a choice. I also think to be running away from your country is not a choice. But the main point I'm saying in this is how long will it take for people to fix their problems? Because of if they don't fix their problems, they stay here and comfortable. Nothing will change in their country. Our people were in other countries, training